Let's see. Hello, hello. So good to see you, beautiful people in the house. Welcome to this live about healthy food and how to boost your work performance. My name is Amrita Mardevi, and I will be your guide here for the next 30 minutes or so, sharing with you how to create more energy through the food that you eat from an Ayurvedic approach. So, I'd love to know in the comments if you can hear me. And before we really dive in, I'd love to know, let me know in the chat, what area of your life would you like more energy in? Is it the morning, the afternoon, or evening? Let me know in the comments. Whilst I wait for a few more people to come in. Welcome, welcome. Great. So, today you are going to get some game-changing insights, and I'd love to share more about the Ayurvedic approach for sustainable energy and mental clarity. I'm going to share with you the exact foods that are going to boost your brain function and balance your hormones and also prevent burnout, which is a major thing. Simple shifts to avoid fatigue, brain fog, and energy crashes. Who wants to know more about that? I'm sure if you're a busy, high achieving woman and you're juggling work life, family, and self care, that this is going to be for you. So stick around. Ayurveda really teaches us that food is medicine. And that's what attracted me so much to this approach and lifestyle. It's also really powerful because it enables you to take back the power of your health into your own hands. And so you can make sure that you're fueling yourself right, like the goddess that you are. Are you with me? So, let's talk about, first of all, why food matters for your energy and focus. So, the science behind it, and I'm sure that you already know this yourself, is that your brain uses 20% of your body's energy, even though it's only 2% of your body's weight. But, not all energy is created equal and we get our energy predominantly from the calories that we ingest, from the food that we're intaking to nourish our bodies. And so when we look at sugar, and we're talking about the processed sugar, the white sugar, the one that you typically would put in your tea, in your coffee, um, or the caffeine, for example, these are fake types of energy. You're going to get a huge spike of glucose in your blood, and that causes stress on your nervous system, and it's going to crash and it's going to leave you feeling exhausted. Whereas in Ayurveda, we have sattvic types of sugar, sweetness, sweet tastes, sweet tasting foods that are whole, they are fresh, things like dates, dried fruits, and fruits are going to give you a more steady releasing sugar. If you pair that, I'm going to share with you how to pair that later on, but we're going to get into how you can use more those sattvic forms of sugar to give you more steady, stable energy, to keep your mind clear, and to keep you sharp all throughout the day long. Okay. Because Ayurveda, it really teaches us that um, the ojas is what we create when we're digesting the foods that we are processing for our tissues. And ojas is the supposedly the last stage of digestion. And when we have good ojas stores, we're going to have more vitality. We're going to radiate more vitality from within. We have more resilience. We feel more focused. And to build ojas, we need to have the right foods in our diet, because the wrong foods really drain us. It's a no-brainer, right? It's so simple. And that's what I love to share, and why I love to share Ayurveda is most people think the way when I explain it, it's oversimplistic, but it really is, about making sure that your diet has the right foods in it, um, along with the impressions that you give your mind and the thoughts that you give yourself throughout your day, that can really change and shift your energy. And then, of course, about the quality of your rest. This is going to make lasting, sustainable changes over a long period of time. And that's what we want. We want sustainable wellness, sustainable holistic health and well-being. So, what are some of the best foods for energy and focus? Some of you wrote in the comments that you have trouble in the mornings. And so, when we're looking at our morning routine, we definitely have some great options for you in terms of your diet, what you should be doing, as well as some of the self-care routines. Now, today's all about the best foods. So, if you want to find out more about self-care and a holistic health and lifestyle, then do check out my Sacred Vitality Club. That's going to give you a support and a community around building lasting and sustainable healthcare changes in your life. Back to the food. Stewed apples with ghee and cinnamon is going to taste like Christmas. It's going to give you a nice, easy to digest meal without like overfilling you up. So you're going to have enough energy there to burn and fuel your morning. You can put into that some lovely soaked almonds. And like I say, you've got the fat, like a half a teaspoon of ghee in that, and it tastes really good, feels really easy to digest. Apples contain quercetin, which is an antioxidant which protects your brain cells. So if you want to have some breakfast that fuels your brain and your energy, that is a great way to nourish you and also build your ojas, keep your digestion strong and your mind sharp and your hormones balanced. Then going into, if you have more of an appetite, you really can go for something like a breakfast bake. I have that recipe on my website, so you can check that out. I'm going to link it underneath this video when I share it. But you want to, it's such an easy to come together breakfast that you can put all the ingredients in a dish the night before or in that morning with some almond milk. Put that into the oven. It takes 30 minutes, which is enough time for you to get changed, brush your teeth and have a shower. And then you come downstairs and it's ready. It smells amazing because it's got all the spices in there that are just going to produce an appetite, that are going to get you ready, stimulate your digestive juices so that you're ready to eat something delicious. And It has some slow releasing complex carbohydrates that also have buckwheat, quinoa. You can mix and match the grains in there, and then you've got a load of seeds. And that is a wonderful way to start your day, especially at this time of the year when you want something a little bit more drying for the body to reduce excess mucus in the body. And then, you know, you can also, if you just want more of a really protein rich breakfast, and you like a protein rich breakfast in the mornings, then go for a bircher's bowl, which is just like chia seeds, flax seeds, all those wonderful sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and some almond nuts. And all of these omega-3s that you're going to get from these nuts are proved to boost your brain function. And so that helps to balance your hormones, it supports your digestion, and it gives you that sustainable energy that you need through your morning without you crashing. And so these are better options for you than grabbing a muffin on the way to work. And it just takes a little bit of preparation, but it truly is worth it to sustain your energy throughout your mornings. So Ayurveda is really adamant that cold smoothies, sugary processed cereals, and coffee, these are not great on an empty stomach because they create a balance of vata dosha. And vata dosha is associated with too much movement, dryness, anxiety, and leads to brain fog. So we want to pacify that by making sure that our breakfasts are nice and warm and grounded, and that we eat in an environment where we're not rushed, so that we get to digest everything that we're putting in our bodies, which is what we are focused on if we want to create that ojas. Now, some of you said that lunches was some time where you really start to crash. And, you know, I can relate to that because I used to have a lunch time crash when I had hormonal imbalances. Something that I suffered with quite a lot after the birth of my first child. And it's something that I help really women with that have hormonal imbalances. Maybe they're not eating right for their blood sugar, and that causes these crashes. Maybe it's issues where they're just not fueling their body. So we want to, this is the middle of the day in Ayurveda is said to be the time where we have the most digestion, power of the digestion fire. And it's the time when we can eat our largest meal. And if you think about that, again, it's common sense that that's the time of day where you are using, you're burning those calories, you're needing that energy and that fuel. So that's the time where you eat more heavier types of food, things that need more digestive power. So this is the time, if you eat flesh foods, that you would eat them. In Ayurveda, we cook this amazing dish, which is like a soup with rice and lentils. It's called khichdi, and that's with spices, and maybe you'll put some vegetables in that. And this is a really great way to get your protein and your carbs, all your energy needs met. And you can put in there spices like cumin, coriander, and fennel seeds. These aromatics not only taste amazing, but they help with your digestion at the same time. Another thing that I love to cook for this time of the year, this season, is quinoa and roasted vegetables with tahini. Have you ever tried that? Well, you haven't tried it like I have, so you can find the recipe for that on my website where you're going to find these. Quinoa is a complete protein. It really fuels neurotransmitter and focus. Root vegetables, really grounding, really, um, again, like give you the fiber that your body needs so that it fuels your body right. Sweet potato and curry chickpeas and basmati rice. Another way, chickpeas are great for chlorine, and they have a way of sharpening your memory and your focus. Sweet potatoes are excellent for creating ojas, so keeping you radiant and energized throughout the day. And so, what we want to avoid at the middle of the day is eating really fried foods, overly processed foods, undercooked or overcooked foods, because that will make it hard for your um, digestion. Who's had a large fried meal in the middle of the day and just notice what that does to your energy, right? And then in the evening, we say in Ayurveda that this is the breakfast and the evening meal are more supplementary. So the main meal is in the middle of the day, and then you've got the dinner, which is lighter, and the breakfast that is more much lighter than that. So you may have heard that you know, or you may even be doing this in your own lifestyle right now, that your dinner is your main meal. And what that does typically is that puts a lot of strain on your digestive system just before you're going to sleep. And then people complain of having real difficulties when they get to sleep. And that is because you have overtaxed your digestive system. So we suggest in Ayurveda, and this is the way that we've evolved to eat in a very unhealthy way in the last literally like century, where this industrialization, we have a work day and we finish at 5 or 6, and then we come home and then we'd eat large meal. Whereas Ayurveda suggests that, you know, the main meal should be in the middle of the day. So if you eat a more light meal in the evening, you think about it, you're not really going to be, doing a lot of it with your energy unless you go to the gym. But that's for another podcast. But like we really want to look at the evening meal being a light meal 3 hours before we go to sleep. And yeah, so we want to stay um, with meals that are easy to digest. So think of soups, think of things that are lighter. So not flesh foods ideally, but things that are really easy to digest. Some of my favorite things are a chickpea pancake with some spinach inside of it, um, or a soup, as I've said, or maybe it's some of the quinoa or the leftovers from lunch that you can make into a smaller meal and have 3 hours before bed. So, um, yeah, that's what I would do if I was looking for more energy, more focus throughout my day, by having a diet that is Ayurvedized for your energy. I'd love to know how you're finding this. So let me know in the comments. Just give me an apple if you resonate with this. And if this sounds like something that you want to try, maybe there's something that you want to try in your lifestyle. And maybe we can also mention about drinking and hydration because, this is all how we nourish ourselves, and the way that we are um, drinking also affects our performance, right? So we do want to make sure that we're drinking some water from the morning to the evening, or at least the early afternoon. And you need to get in between that period around 8 to 11 cups of warm water in. When I say that, people are like, yeah, that sounds like like um, 8 ounces, what I would typically have. But most people, what they do, they're drinking cold drinks, icy even water. Whereas in Ayurveda, we would fill up a flask with our digestive herbs, and we would sip on that throughout the day. So there's a slight shift, right? From icy cold drinks into warm teas. And so the types of spices that you can add into your drink are, again, going to help your digestion, help you to eliminate and detoxify any of the excess in the body. So, some really good suggestions. For example, if you have digestive issues, then you can look at getting coriander, cumin, and fennel seed blend. And those three spices are, you can make it yourself into a blend and then use a tablespoon of that in your flask of water. And that really helps to detoxify. It opens up the channels of your blood. So it dilates your channels. And that's why it's so beneficial to you, more beneficial to you than cold water is. Lemon water in the morning is very good at detoxifying the channels and starting the elimination pathways. Um, of which is debatable. Some people are like, oh, but the lemon on my teeth, and I hear you. There are different spices that you can use if you find that lemon is too abrasive for the enamel of your teeth. You could also just rinse your mouth out with some water, and that will get the citrus off of the teeth enamel. So, you just got to find the way, right? When something feels good, you find a way, you find um, the solution so that it works. So um, throughout the day, you're sipping on this warm water. Ginger water is another option if you're someone that needs more heat. Supposing if you have cold hands and feet, if you're someone with poor circulation, ginger really increases the circulation in your body. So it's going to improve any of those symptoms of coldness in the body and improve your digestion, and as well affect the if you're someone that suffers from headaches, it's really good to stop the onset of headaches. And then once you've got your hydration and you're eating nice, then I would suggest that you take 5 minutes after you walk. After you eat, take a walk, because that's going to also improve your energy levels and be any kapha type sluggishness that happens in your energy flow. So There was a few things that we talked about there, and I hope that's giving you some food for thought to keep your energy levels and your focus nice and high so that you beat any crashes. Tell me in the comments, which foods or tips really resonate with you the most. Drop that in the chat, and I'm going to post this to my platforms. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next month on the 1st to share with you some more Ayurvedic wisdom. And if you want to find out more about me, check out Ayurveda anytime and our Sacred Vitality Collective, where we go deep into holistic health, workouts twice a week together, and self-care. Don't forget to slay your health the Ayurvedic way. Thank you.